window one morning with nothing on. Do you know what she said to me? Come away from the window, for God's sake. People think I married you for your money. You know, I really mean this sincerely. The comedians, for me, 20-odd years ago, was the best thing in my life. Not because of the success, but the people around. You know, we had some fantastic nights.
1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, testing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wheel Choppers Working Men's, when we have a grand array of turns for our members tonight. Topping bill, we've got Manchester's own Sammy Davis Jr., Bert Parkinson. That's not his real name, that's just his stage name. Comes here every week for 30 bob and I know very well he can't afford to pay us. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had complaints from Thartis as comes here to entertain our members. That the acoustics are bad in this club. Now, we've put poison down and set traps. Now, we'll catch these acoustics. We're having no acoustics in this club while I'm chairman here, and that's straight. By the way, pies have come. And they've come on their own, so put plenty of pepper on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Next week's artist, a nail to the door.
He went to dentist, got settee chair, dentist says how many, says the lot, get 'em out, flower. He says how, he says whip 'em out. He said it'll cost you 12 guineas. Oh, he said, hold on, cock. Hold on. He said, here's $1, slacken 'em.
And the Pope has made a fortune out of his new book, The Pilgrim Progress. Very good. They've just invented a new pill for Catholics, weighs 3.5 tons. You put it up against the door and your husband can't get in. Maggie Murphy went to the doctor. She said, I've forgotten to take my contradictive pills. He says, you're ignorant. She says, yeah, 3 months.
And I saw this, and I saw this big Rolls Royce parked at Blackpool on the promenade, you know, and there was a little boy walking along it, scraping his spade up and down. And his dad said, if you break that spade, I won't buy you another one.
One fellow went in the restaurant, milk bar. He said, what milkshakes have you got? The girl said, raspberry and vanilla. He said, have you got Lauren Joyce's? Only raspberry.
This fella's in the bar and he says to me, I've given up drinking, smoking and going with him. And it's been the longest 20 minutes of my life.
An adventurous pirate called Bates attempted the rumba on skates. He fell on his cutlass, which rendered him No, we can't do that.
Jimbo, now there's a fella, Jimbo. Now, Jimbo, look at him. I've seen more meat on Lester Pickett's whip. And I played darts with Jimbo for years, until his head got blunt. But I'm proud because my wife, she's a wonderful person. She's got me well adjusted now to sex life. Because we were making love the other night. She's getting lazy. And I said, did I hurt your love? She said, no. I said, I swore you moved. I fell over last week and knocked myself to sleep, you know. No, I couldn't get off the ground. She thought I was breakdancing. I'm not mentioning any names, but you can follow my eyes. He was working with the Liverpool Council. You know when you clean the Mersey tunnel out, you pull him through. he's got the Embassy Club, as you all know. It's in Rochdale Road, and it's, well, I went there. No, you wipe your feet when you're going out. And you can have a meal there. You can have a Sunday lunch there now. It's a broken leg of lamb. No, he's all right, Ben. He's one of my favourites. I love him very much. I wouldn't give him one, like. His mother's a lovely woman. She's 94, bless her. And she told me she wouldn't breastfeed him as a baby. She said, I wanted him just as a friend. But Bernie, when he was born, bless him, the midwife had to have gas. And when he was a baby, the doctor took one look at him and gave his dad a slap.
I'm on next.
I know you are. I tell you what, Bernard, it won't stay on here long, I don't think. I've loosened all the screws out of it. Yeah.
This fella was talking to us, he said, you know, in life, women are funny, aren't they? You know, 3 different sorts of kinds of women. You know, when they make love, they say different things, don't they? I said, what do you mean, like? He said, well, a young girl, right, you know, after sex will go, that's it. That's it. And a lady of the night, like a substitute, will go, that's it. And a wife will go, peach. I'll paint the ceiling peach. How long's your club been open now, Ben?
35 years.
35 years, Ben and Manny, right? And it used to be a shed. And now he's built an extension on it. It used to cost £1 to get in them days, 25 years ago. £1 to get in, and £0.50 to get out.
That was only when you was up.
Exactly, yeah. I did your club. I did Bernard's club, right? You wouldn't believe this, I did the club. And it's a hard job being a comedian, isn't it? Yeah. It must be the hardest job in the world.
How would you know?
The hardest job in the bloody world is a comedian, though. Comedian, isn't it? Yeah. Impressionists, they get me. They can't do themselves. They've got to do somebody famous. I was watching a fella on the television doing an impression of me, right? I wasn't working, and he was getting paid.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. No, you can't do me. I'll do impression. I'll tell you what, I'll do a bloody impression. All you got to do is you go, lend a pair of glasses. I'll do an impression. Can I borrow your glasses, love? Oh, do I? Jim's, I won't borrow yours. Thank you very much. Got myself a crying. Gotta do my best. Just 'cause she's a living doll. I'll give you a clue. New balls, Cliff. Why, I've hardly used these. Yeah, love, you don't need them. You need a guide dog. What do you think of the lads? Don't you look different? No, we've all got a bit of grey hair, haven't we? Like, you know. I mean, it takes its toll, this job. And Frank Carson is here. Frank's still going. He hasn't worn his teeth out yet. Look at that. So it says, what's the difference between Frank Carson and the M1? Because you can turn off the M1.
The way I tell it. I should have read you this letter earlier on, actually. It's from my mother. She says, Dear Frank, you've now been away for 3 weeks and we thought you were still in the lavatory. The insurance man called this morning and said, if the last instalment on your granny's funeral isn't paid, up she comes. Since you've left home, your fella has become a sex maniac and tries to make love to me every opportunity he gets. Please excuse the wobbly writing. Let me get away with that one. Your Uncle Joe drank a bottle of varnish yesterday and had a horrible death, but a lovely finish. Your Uncle Paddy, who's been on Andrew's liver salts for 37 years, died a fortnight ago. Yesterday, we had to go up to the cemetery and beat his liver to death with a stick. That's the way I tell it. I would have put £2 in this letter, only I have the envelope sealed. See me laughing at that one? That's the first time I've heard it as well.
Who wants their passport stamped for the Isle of Man? What about the Irishman was struck with lightning and thought he was having his photograph taken? Well, the Irishman had the leg transplant and his welly rejected it. What about the fella from Aberdeen had the plastic hip put in and asked the surgeon could he have the bone for the dog? And this fella said to me, have a look at this, Frank, there's a Japanese hearing aid. Now, he said, that contains, look at the size of a grain of rice. That contains a microchip system with 4 transistor batteries, plastic. See the Japanese? Their technology is so far in advance of ours, we'll never be able to compete with them. That is the most advanced technological engineering feat of the 20th century, that Panasonic hearing aid. I said, was it expensive? He says, 20 past 7. What about the fellow who was on Mastermind? He said to Mackety Mackison, do you mind if I answer questions with my back to you? He said, not at all. He says, what's your name? Joe Wilson. Where do you come from? Luton. What do you want to answer questions on? English political history, 1931, 1981. Occupation, taxi driver.
Settle down now. Too good for this place. I went in the chemist the other day, you know, Doug. I said, have you got any rat poison? He said, have you tried boots? I said, I don't want to kick him to death, you know. I went swimming at the Turkish baths and it was full of steam, so I took my clothes off. When the steam cleared, I was in a chip shop. I felt out of place. The lady said, I'll have 6 pence. I said, no, you won't. I don't like jokes like that. I'm a bit unlucky like that, you know. I come from an unlucky family. It's unluckier than that. I bought a bunch of bananas and when I opened them, they were all empty. Yeah. And my brother died drinking a can of Long Life. And my uncle, he confessed to murder on his deathbed and he got better. Do you get it? My great-grandfather, he got shipwrecked and he got picked up by the Titanic. That's too good for this place. Oh. What are you laughing at? I lent my pal £1,000 to have a plastic face job done and now I can't recognise him to get me money back. The wife come in the other day, she said, we got trouble with the car. I said, what's up? She said, there's water in the engine. I said, where is it? She said, in the river. You can be unlucky, can't you? I bought a jellyfish and it set.
My pal bought a box of After Eights and he died at 7:30.
Do you remember when the first spring mattresses came out, years and years ago? We lived in Accrington, that's where the M6 is cobbled. And this Mr. and Mrs. Wilkinson, everybody watched what everybody got, didn't they, in the terrace town? They got this spring mattress, and then they didn't deliver furniture then to go and collect it, hadn't you? They didn't do like a delivery, to go down and pick it up. Word got around, they're going for a spring mattress, and they went down to this Days Furnishers in Accrington, and they brought it back. And he's at the front with it on their head. Spring mattress, he's got it at the front, and she's behind with the back half of the mattress, bringing it back. And all the village, they got the mattress. Saturday afternoon, it in. Oh, Mark, up in it went, the mattress. And everybody's talking, they got a mattress. Monday morning, it's going back. He's out taking it back. He's at the front. And this Mrs. Jones across the road, she shouted across the road, "Are you taking the mattress back? Are you taking it back?" She says, "Yes, it's too fast for us."
My mother didn't want me. But my dad said, "Keep him, we'll do for the others to play with." It was terrible getting to sleep, you know. 8 kids in one bed, can you imagine? Hey? And it was a single bed. My dad put us in bed 2 at a time. When we were asleep, he'd take us out and stand us up against the wall, and he used to put...
21 years. My God, doesn't time fly? Mind you, I had a nice surprise when I came here today. A lovely young lady stopped me outside the door. She said, "Mr. Williams, you don't look sexy." I said, "Listen, Flower, sex at my age is like playing snooker with a rope." Mind you, that shock of my life 3 weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen, and I tell you this in all honesty. I was at the Grosvenor House Hotel in London on Park Lane. Grosvenor House Hotel, a very posh hotel. I walked out on stage and 850 people stood up en bloc. They thought it was Nelson Mandela. Hey, girls, a little bit of scandal. What about that bloke in Manchester last week? We're walking down the main street in Manchester and he saw a notice in the shop window, "Condoms fitted while you wait." Condoms fitted while you wait. I ask you. So, God bless him, he went inside and this beautiful blonde comes slinking round the counter. He said, "Excuse me, miss, are you the one that fits condoms while you wait?" She said, "I'm certainly Ham." With an H on the ham. He said, "Well, wash your hands, I want a quarter of mint imperial." Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, I was a professional footballer. I wasn't a good player, but could stop them buggers that was. And before I was a professional football player, I was an amateur boxer. And I was good. Only had one fight. ABA finals at Stoke-on-Trent, 1948. And I was an exponent of the left jab. I was brilliant. And I fought this lad and I jabbed him, cut him, jabbed him, cut him, jabbed him, cut him. And if ref hadn't took knife off me, I'd have bleeding killed him. Yeah. 21 years, good memories. Have you got good memories? That's good. I'll test you.
An army colonel went up to a house of ill repute. Did I say the wrong word? An army colonel went up to a house of ill repute, knocked on the door and said, "Good evening, ma'am." Said, "How much for the pleasure of my company?" She said, £5, sir. She said, thank you. Company, for the left!
Well, the fellow went to his mate's house and knocked on the door. The wife opened it. He said, could I speak to Harry, please? She said, Harry? Oh, God, Harry. Harry. He said, I just want to have a bit of a rabbit with Harry, you know. She said, Harry. He said, has something happened to Harry then? Because he's quick, you know. The woman said, he's just passed away. He said, I'm sorry about that. Were you with him when he went? She said, yes. He said, did he mention me paintbrush by any chance?
And you can always tell when you look at a girl what type they are. I could see this girl was used to being picked up because she had handles on her hips. So I walked over, I said, hello. She said, hello. I said, you look pretty groovy. And she said, yes, I wear corduroy knickers.
I was in Morecambe a couple of years ago. 14 weeks in Morecambe. Somebody has to go there. I lost the raffle. They put all the artists' names in a hat and Mr. Delfont pulls them out and the ones who lose have to go to Morecambe. It's a sort of cemetery with lights, isn't it? Mad gay city. Stockport with C. If you want any excitement in Morecambe, they all go in the grocers and watch the bacon slicer. Lovely girl she is. Wednesday's the big day. They all turn out and watch the traffic lights change. 10:30 it is if you don't want to miss it. Doesn't last long. What a place. They don't bury the dead, they stand them up in bus shelters.